Today, we're diving into the epic saga of Vishnu's 10 avatars. And this isn't just a story about gods and demons. It's about what it takes to restore balance to the entire universe, again and again. This famous verse from the Bhagavad Gita, this is really the key to everything we're talking about today. It's basically a divine promise. When things get bad, when chaos takes over, help is on the way to protect the good and reestablish cosmic order, or dharma. So that's the big question, right? What exactly were these crises that were so huge, so dire, that the preserver of the universe had to personally step in? Not just once, but in 10 completely different forms. Let's dig in and explore the challenges that defined the ages. Now, to really get a grip on the avatars, you first have to understand the timeline they're operating on. In Hindu cosmology, time isn't a straight line. It's a cycle, divided into 4 great ages, or yugas. It starts with the Satya Yuga, this perfect age of truth, and then slowly winds down, age by age, to where we are now, the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness and conflict. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. You'd think, wouldn't you, that the darker the age, the more help you'd need. But look at this. The Satya Yuga, the most pure and pristine age, actually had the most divine interventions. And that tells you something pretty profound. The threats back then must have been so fundamental they could have completely derailed creation before it even got going. Right, let's jump into that Satya Yuga. The problems here weren't about, corrupt kings or social decay. The threats were elemental, striking right at the foundations of existence itself. We're talking about saving sacred knowledge, the power of the gods, and, well, planet Earth. So get this, the very first avatar, Matsya the fish, had to tackle 2 massive crises at the same time. On one hand, a great flood was about to wipe out all life. On the other, a demon had stolen the Vedas, the source code of creation. So Vishnu's first act wasn't just saving humanity. It was saving the very blueprint for reality. Next up, the gods themselves were in trouble, weakened by a powerful curse. Their only shot was to churn the primordial ocean to get the nectar of immortality. The problem? The giant mountain they were using as a churning rod kept sinking. So what was Vishnu's solution? He became the great tortoise, Kurma, and literally held the entire mountain on his back. He became the stable foundation they needed for their own salvation. And the scale of these early challenges just keeps getting bigger. This time, it wasn't just knowledge or power on the line. The planet itself got stolen. A demon named Hiranyaksha literally dragged the Earth down to the bottom of the cosmic ocean. So Vishnu became the colossal boar, Varaha, dove into the depths, defeated the demon, and physically lifted our world back where it belongs. Well, as you can imagine, the death of Hiranyaksha really angered his brother, Hiranyakashipu. So through incredible asceticism, he earned a boon from the creator god Brahma that was basically a list of cosmic loopholes designed to make him unkillable. He couldn't be killed by man or beast, inside or out, day or night, on the ground or in the air, or by any weapon. Seemed like a foolproof plan. So how do you defeat a being with a perfect defense? Well, Vishnu's answer was just brilliant. He appeared as Narasimha, a form that is neither man nor beast. He attacked at twilight, which is neither day nor night. He did it on the threshold of a doorway, neither indoors nor out. He placed the demon on his lap, neither earth nor sky, and used his claws, which aren't considered a weapon. Every single condition of the boon was met and bypassed with absolute genius. All right, so now we're shifting gears into the Treta Yuga. The threats are evolving. It's less about saving creation itself and more about defining the rules of civilization. The challenges are now about things like arrogance, justice, and what it means to live an ideal life. The 5th avatar, Vamana, shows up as a small dwarf. He goes to this powerful and actually quite generous demon king, Bali, who had conquered the 3 worlds. Now, Bali's one big flaw was his pride and his own charity, so Vamana just asks for a tiny piece of land, whatever he can cover in 3 steps. Bali, kind of amused by this, agrees instantly. And then, with his first tiny step, Vamana covers the entire earth. With his second, he covers the heavens. There's nowhere left for the 3rd step, but King Bali, realizing who he's dealing with, doesn't go back on his word. He humbly offers his own head. And Vishnu, so impressed by this integrity, doesn't destroy him. Instead, he rewards him, granting him rule over the netherworld as a testament to his character. Talk about a change of pace. The sixth avatar, Parshurama, is a completely different kind of justice. He was a sage, but with the untamed spirit of a warrior. And after a corrupt king murdered his father, Parshurama unleashed a wave of pure, righteous fury, waging war against the entire arrogant warrior class an incredible 22 times to cleanse the world of their corruption. And then, of course, we have Rama, the seventh avatar. He's held up as the ideal man, the perfect son, husband, and king. His entire life story, the Ramayana, is basically a masterclass in Dharma. From enduring a 14-year exile to fighting the demon king Ravana to rescue his wife, Sita, his whole journey was about upholding duty, culminating in a legendary reign of perfect justice called Rama Raja. Okay, so as we get into the later ages, the world gets more complicated, more morally gray. The challenges become less about a clear-cut good versus evil, and more about navigating complex human dilemmas. So the avatars have to evolve too. They become teachers, strategists, and philosophers.
The eighth avatar, Krishna, is a central figure in the massive Mahabharata war. He was a brilliant diplomat and strategist for sure, but his greatest act wasn't with a weapon, it was with his words. Right there on the battlefield, he delivered the Bhagavad Gita to the warrior Arjuna. It's this timeless teaching about duty, action, and the nature of reality that is still a spiritual guide for millions today.
And then we get to the ninth avatar, Buddha, who just completely flips the script. He was born a prince, but he gave up everything to find an end to suffering. He used absolutely no divine weapons. His tools were wisdom and compassion. He taught a path of peace, showing that the real way to restore Dharma was from the inside out, by conquering our own desires. And that brings us, well, pretty much to today. We're in the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness. And the ancient texts prophesy that when things finally hit rock bottom, one last avatar will appear to hit the cosmic reset button. The prophecies are surprisingly specific about this. Vishnu's 10th and final incarnation will be as Kalki. He'll be born in a village called Sambal. He'll ride a magnificent white horse named Devdutt, and in his hand he'll hold a blazing sword to cut down the unrighteousness of the age. And his mission is clear and absolute. It's a final, total cleansing. Kalki is the great warrior who will eradicate evil, protect what little goodness is left, and bring the Kali Yuga to a close. And in doing so, he will kick off the next golden age, the new Satya Yuga, starting the whole grand cycle all over again. But that leads to one last, really fascinating thought. The scriptures suggest that the evil at the very end of this age, this figure called Kali Raj, will be so powerful, so pervasive, that the final battle might actually be too much for even a divine avatar to handle all by himself. And the answer the prophecy gives to this is just wow. It's truly epic. It says that Kalki will be joined by the 7 Chiranjeevis, the 7 immortals. And this group includes the 6th avatar himself, the incredibly formidable Parshurama. So you get this vision of a final, cosmic all-star team assembling for one last war to save reality. What a powerful way to think about how a cycle ends and how a brand new one is born.